Pretty safe to say that I absolutely love Metroid, and that's literally why we're talking about it today. I've been a huge fan of Metroid for as long as I can remember, but I've never actually sat down and talked about what are my top 5 most iconic Metroid moments. So 2 or 3 days later, I was able to track them down, narrow them down to my most iconic moments, and this is the result of that. What is up, you guys? Welcome to the collective. My name is Furman, and in this video we are going to be talking about my list, my opinion of the top 5 most iconic Metroid moments. Before we get started, don't forget to like this video, share this video, and subscribe to my channel for more awesome content just like this. Alright guys, let's get into it. I was about to say since its inception, but really, Super Metroid was the first game that I got into, so almost since its inception, I have been a humongous fan of Metroid. I've just been head over heels in love with it. I have tried and played and beaten almost all of them. I think the only two I haven't beaten is probably Prime 2 and 3, but that's just kind of because I'm waiting for the remakes. I'm waiting for them to come or get remastered on the Nintendo Switch. But yeah, I have always been a huge fan of this franchise, and it genuinely does blow my mind that Metroid just doesn't sell very good. Now, I do think that it sells pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, I do think it sells really good, but according to Nintendo standards, it just doesn't sell very good, which is really unfortunate, because I think a huge amount of Nintendo fans are literally missing out on one of the best franchises ever made. So yeah, this is the whole point of this video. I'm making this video so that somebody that is on the fence or somebody that doesn't really know too much about it is able to see these moments and say, hey, this franchise, this game is maybe worth checking out. Number 1. Oh, and this is in no particular order, although I will say that, the one that's in 5th place is quite arguably probably the best moment. I think we can probably agree with that. But yes, number 1, Super Metroid. Super Metroid's final boss. Now, a lot of you might be thinking, man, why didn't you pick like the first section of the game? I do think that is a truly iconic game. And this game, Super Metroid, has so many good moments. I mean, it is just chock full of them. The ambiance, the music, the baddies, the bad guys, the big bosses and all that. Like, there's just so much that is just rich in yummy goodness when it comes to this game. But nothing is more iconic than the final boss. I mean, you have essentially Mother Brain that turns into this gigantic, disgusting, super scary monster. Like, I still remember playing this as a kid and being like, holy cow, how the heck am I supposed to beat this thing? So, you just start hammering it with missiles, and, you're going hardcore on it, and, you're not really doing much of anything to it, and you get annihilated. You get eviscerated by this monster. And, this is a little side note, but I love it when you lose to the bad guy. I actually do enjoy that. I hate when video games make you win against the bad guy who's clearly overpowering you and is way stronger than you. I think that's really dumb. But you get eviscerated by this Mother Brain monster beast, and then the Metroid comes over there and literally helps you. Like, he goes in there, or he or she, I don't know what gender the Metroid is. I'm pretty sure it's a she. But she goes in there and she starts sucking the life out of this thing, and she sucks him dry, pause, and literally takes his powers and gives them to you. So as you're getting the powers, as you're filling up, you're getting all the good nutrients and vitamins and minerals essential to be a healthy samus, the monster comes back to life, and she just comes back and starts hammering this poor little Metroid. And the Metroid is relentless. Like, she just keeps giving you the energy, the power, as she's getting destroyed. And, she gives you all the nutrients. And right when she's about to go back in for the attack, the Mother Brain delivers the final blow. So right after that happens, you're heartbroken. You're like, oh my God, this thing gave its life to save me. But then you're filled with newfound power. You have this sick, awesome rainbow cannon thing, and you just smash that beast. I mean, you completely eviscerate that thing, and the music is flaring up. It's like, oh, it's such an iconic moment. And I truly believe that moment right there was what cemented me and what would always make me a forever Metroid fan. Number 2. And remember, this is in no particular order, okay? Because if that was the case, then this one would probably be higher up there, way higher up there. But number 2 is Metroid Fusion, the Saw X. You know, that Saw X or Samus X freaky scene where this thing just like stares into your soul. Now, you know, going into the game, you kind of, you know, get a big giant lore dump, and you get into understanding she got infected by X. Then, you know, they basically had to take her super suit apart and take it off of her and all that. So basically the X uses the super suit pieces or whatever to like make a copy of Samus. And this thing is absolutely horrifying. I mean, throughout the whole game, you're literally being chased down by this beast. This thing is unrelenting. It is chasing you down. It is scary as heck, and you're just like holding on to dear life. Like, you're like, oh my god, this is insanely scary. What can I do? Get me out of here. Please save me, Jesus. But you know, like, towards the beginning of the game, you don't really know what type of game this is gonna be. You don't know that it's basically gonna turn into like a horror flick. So you keep hearing this stuff about how this X is basically destroying things, and it's going around basically looking for you, and you're just like, what the heck? But it isn't until that scene where you leave the room and, you know, the frame stays there. It doesn't move, and all you see is an explosion, and in pops the Saw X. And it doesn't just pop in and then keep walking. It literally pops in and stares into the camera, and the camera zooms in and looks at its soulless eyes, and you're like, oh my Jesus, what did I just buy? What am I playing? I didn't sign up for this. This is horrifying. This is insane. You know, it also doesn't make it any better, the fact that since you don't have your new power suit, and since you have that X power or whatever, like, you're vulnerable to ice. And of course, the Saw X has an ice cannon that he rightfully stole from you. So you encounter this thing, and throughout the majority of the game, every time you encounter it, if you don't run away, you are going to die. Plain and simple. I absolutely love that about this game, and I think it is just a horrifying game because of that. It's so good. Number 3, the Metroid Zeromission. Now, this game is truly iconic because it decided to go in and remake the original game. So, you know, we got a chance to finally beat it. I didn't play the original game on the NES. By that time, it was already super dated and all that, so, you know, whatever. But we did get this game, and it was amazing. And, you know, the iconic scene, the most iconic moment in this game has got to be the Zero Mission episode. So essentially, you beat the game. You play through the whole game, you know, the original game, and you leave the place that you're at. I'm blanking on the name. I'm pretty sure it's like SR 380 something, or the other one. Whatever, doesn't matter. You beat the game, you're leaving, and then your ship basically gets shot down. You're stranded on this planet, and you're like, holy crap, what the heck is going on? I don't have my power suit. I'm literally naked. And I do believe this was the first time that you actually get to play as Zero Suit Samus, which she became an iconic cheeky staple. I mean, everybody loves Zero Suit Samus, you know, for obvious reasons. But yeah, like, you go from being at the top of your game to all of a sudden you don't have your power suit, and you are in a weakened, fragile state, and all you have is this little puny laser gun. I mean, guys, I actually played this game. I played through Zero Mission a few, I think last year when it dropped on Nintendo Switch Online or whatever, or 2 years ago, I think. And I got through that moment pretty fast. I think it only took me like, I don't know, 40 minutes to an hour or something like that. But when I first played that, it felt like weeks. Like, that section felt so long because it was so difficult. It was so hard, and you had to be extremely careful. You couldn't just go in there like you were basically Master Chief and just annihilate everything. So yeah, you're sitting there, you're traversing through this area, and you're looking and, you know, trying to find your way through it, and then you end up stumbling upon a new power suit basically, and you get your powers back, all that good stuff. And you also get a nice little lore dump, which shows you like how the Chozo was and all that. And I absolutely love the fact that we get more lore in the newer games. That was always one thing that I wasn't a big fan of Super Metroid. It is just open world basically, kind of sort of Metroidvania, and you don't really get too much information. So I do like that. A lot of people do complain about Metroid Fusion having too many cutscenes, and I would agree with you when it comes to that, but I appreciated the fact that they were just giving you lore, giving you backstory, giving you information on what's going on. It wasn't just a blank open slate. So yeah, you get this and you beat the area, you basically narrowly escape, and then the game is over. Iconic. Number 4, Metroid Dread. The Metroid Dread Samus talking scene. Guys, we've gotten, I believe, 11 Metroid games, and last time I checked, Samus has never talked in any of them. So when she finally decided to talk, oh my god, this was such a sick scene. Like, I absolutely loved it. I still remember being shocked. Like, I'm getting goosebumps right now just thinking about how sick this scene was, where literally she meets up with one of the Chozo and she actually talks, but she doesn't just speak English, she speaks in the Chozo language, the Chozo dialect. That is so cool and so iconic. And it makes me think, like, man, I wish a lot more of these like silent protagonists would kind of do this. I'm not thinking they need to be talking the whole time, but it would be nice to hear their voice, to hear what they talk like, or to hear what they sound like, or whatever. That would be super cool. And this is obviously why this scene is so iconic. It is such a cool scene, and it will go down in history. Honestly, I wanted to put this in 5th place, but man, not like they're in any particular order, but I think this one was truly iconic. Now, number 5. Actually, before we get to number 5, we have a bonus iconic scene. I know you guys probably noticed that Metroid Prime is not very much in here, but that's just because I've only beaten the first one, okay? And I absolutely love the first one, but we need the second one and third one to come to Switch. I truly want to wait till that happens. But Metroid Prime, the helmet off scene. If you beat this game, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I didn't play Metroid Prime when it was out on the GameCube. The first one I played was Metroid Prime 2, and I was super confused by it, so I didn't really play too much of it. I know, kind of dumb, but I wasn't exactly the smartest kid back then. Get off my back. But yeah, they decided to remaster it on the Switch, and obviously I bought it like immediately. So I played it, I love it, I think it's one of the best Metroid games ever made, and now I understand why people are so hardcore when it comes to the Metroid Prime games, because they're so good. But yeah, you beat the game. I think you have to like meet a certain requirement, you have to like complete a certain amount of it in order to get this scene. But you beat the game, and if you met those requirements, you were given one of the most iconic scenes in all of Metroid history, which is Samus finally taking her helmet off, and we get to see her face. Now, obviously, she did look a little bit weird from my point of view, just because I beat this last year. So we already know what Samus looks like because of Zero Suit Samus and because of all the artwork that we've gotten throughout the years. But this scene came before that, so she did look a little weird. I'm not gonna lie, she looked a little bit weird, but I mean, she looked great. And I'm just trying to envision, imagining seeing, playing all of the Metroid games and then getting to this one in particular, and you see this scene and you're like, wow, that's what Samus looks like. That is so cool. That is so freaking cool. So yeah, obviously I had to include that. I think you guys would have probably rioted if I didn't include that, right? Alright, last but not least, we are again at Metroid Dread, And like I said in the beginning of this video, this is probably arguably the best, the most iconic scene in all of Metroid history. And that's why I saved it for last, even though it wasn't ordered that way. But you know, I did think this one deserved the last place. Obviously, you had to go to the end, the final boss fight in Metroid Dread, when Samus finally gets her weird mutation Metroid suit. Now, essentially what this suit is, it basically uses her Metroid powers, her Metroid DNA that she got, and takes over her and turns her almost into a Metroid human, which is pretty bizarre when you read that on paper. It sounds pretty crazy, but essentially it turns her suit into like a weird alien creature looking thing, and it looks super cool. It looks absolutely insane. Like, it just looks like an insane mutation, but it looks so cool. And you know, obviously the lead up to it is what makes this scene so iconic. Like, you over there, you beat the boss, which by the way, you probably died a million times because this guy is a freaking monster. I forget his name, Ravenbeak or something like that. Samus's daddy. You fight him, and after dying a million times, you finally beat this guy. And my phone just fell. But you finally beat him, and you know, you end up losing because he's way stronger than you. So you get choked out, and he's just like, don't worry, I'll take care of the galaxy. You know, I'm gonna rule it. I'm gonna take over everything. And you're over there, your mutation Metroid powers are freaking out, and you're trying to get a hold of him. You're trying to choke him out. You're trying to stop him. And then she just kind of goes silent. You know, she goes limp for a few seconds, and then she comes back and she starts screaming. She is making noise again, guys. She starts screaming, and this scream is so iconic. I mean, just check this out. Yeah, she literally starts losing her mind. She goes Super Saiyan rage mode, and you know, then starts smashing him. She pretty much derails the whole plane or situation that they're in. You know, it crash lands, and then you get the true final boss fight, which he ends up turning into a weird, crazy looking raven beak thing, monster, slime thing. I don't know what you want to call it, but yeah, he turns into that. And yes, this scene will forever go down in history. It's one of the scenes that, you know, it gave me goosebumps as I was beating it back then in 2021 when this game released, and I absolutely loved it. I was like chock full of COVID then, and I was super sick and I was dying, but I saw that scene and I was like, whoa, whoa. Yeah, it was so cool. It was insane. It was amazing. Yeah, guys, that is the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and let me know in the comment section, do you guys agree with my list? Do you guys agree that these are the most iconic scenes in all of Metroid? If you do, let me know. And as always, guys, do not forget to like this video, share this video, and subscribe to my channel for more awesome content just like this. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but we're getting real close to that 3,000 subscriber mark. For that, I say thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate the support. Alright, and we will see you on the next video. Peace! I'm kind of wondering if there's like a book that'll teach you how to like learn the Chozo language. That'd be kind of sick to learn, you know? It'd be cool to like make fun of people in that language. Like, I could learn it and then like talk about people, and they wouldn't know what I'm saying because there's absolutely no one in the world that would sit down and like learn that language. Yeah.